I'm Robert Banks with San Andreas News. This was the scene on Pacific Avenue earlier today, just after a drug-related stabbing. Police responded after receiving a report of a man who had been stabbed multiple times in the legs. The victim requested to stay anonymous. The victim was walking down the street when he observed a man. The same man, he says, that he has seen selling drugs in this area multiple times in the past.
He was selling drugs. Xanaxes, got it? He tried to rob someone.
The suspect launched his attack without provocation, leaving the victim laying on the sidewalk bleeding from multiple stab wounds to his legs. The suspect was restrained by police when I arrived and put into custody shortly after. I was able to speak briefly with Officer Gomez on the scene.
Well, our suspect is known to be a street dealer. We're pretty sure that he attempted to rob the victim after selling him some sort of drugs, but we haven't found them yet.
The police have declined to follow up on this case or release the suspect's name and arrest history. While apprehending this violent criminal, an LSPD officer acted quickly to treat the wounds inflicted by this man's crazed offensive. What became apparent was not only did this officer provide assistance while waiting for paramedics, he, in fact, likely saved this man's life, as no paramedics responded to the scene. While the officer responsible for this selfless act responded to a call before I was able to speak with him, I was able to meet with the man in the center of this scene for a brief interview. His voice and face had been masked as per his request.
Today I found the same guy selling drugs like Xanax, crack, and other kinds of drugs. He pulled a knife out of his pocket. He was scared that I'm from the police, but I'm not. There was an experienced guy there. That guy helped me a lot. If he's watching this, I want to tell him thank you.
But still the question remained. Where were the firefighters and the EMTs? This man was fortunate that the LSPD had an experienced medic with them that was able to patch him up on the scene. But what if his injuries were more severe? I traveled to the fire department in order to get their side of the story. I met with one of the commanding officers at the fire department. Before we had hardly finished exchanging pleasantries, he was called into the field himself. I found that this is not an unusual occurrence in Los Santos. And even with administration staff responding to calls whenever possible, there is still a large number of pleas for help going unanswered. Upon trying to reschedule my interview, my call was received by a probationary firefighter who informed me that he was the only person on duty, leaving the lives of the entire city resting on a single inexperienced trainee's hands. One who has not yet shown the ability to undertake such an immense responsibility and is not physically capable of responding to multiple calls at once, as an emergency service that is inundated with so many calls demands. I spoke with several people on the street about their opinions of this issue. They told me that they fear the day that they pick up the phone in urgent need of medical attention, only to realize that no one is coming. The emergency preparedness of the firefighters and paramedics, and therefore the lives of the people of Los Santos, rests directly on the shoulders of Chief Eleanor Swafford. And at a point we have to decide, do we still trust her with our lives? I'm Robert Banks, reporting for San Andreas News.